Hi, Bob Long, LADC. Let's talk about boundaries today and what boundaries are not. Boundaries are not ultimatums. Ultimatums will never work. Well, they might work, but chances are they're not going to get the results that you want to get. I had a client whose wife told me she gave her husband or set with her husband a boundary. I said, oh, let's hear it. She said, if you ever come home drunk again, that's it, the marriage is over with, I'm going to get a divorce, and that's it. I said, okay, let's see how that works out. Fast forward 2 weeks, they come into the office. Sure enough, he had relapsed. And I sat there for a second. She was very frustrated, and I said, so who's your divorce attorney? And she said, what are you talking about? I said, you set a boundary with him. If you ever come home drunk again, you're going to get a divorce. Who's your divorce attorney? Have you started the paperwork? She said, oh, no. I'm not going to divorce him over that. I said, okay, if you're not going to divorce him over that, was it really a boundary? It was an ultimatum, and he called your bluff. So what did he learn about that so-called boundary? He learned that it was written on wet toilet paper. And she said, I guess I don't know what a boundary is. I said, well, check this out. Let me help you set a boundary. I said, okay, fine. I cannot control whether or not you drink. I cannot control whether you come home intoxicated, drunk, and mean, belligerent, or anything like that. But understand this, if you do, I cannot stay here. I mean, if you drink, that's your choice. But you have to understand, in order to keep me safe, I'm going to take the credit card. I'm going to go out to a really nice motel or hotel. I'm going to have room service. I'm going to come back. I'm not going to have my phone, so please don't try to call me. And I'll come back when I think you sobered up. And sure enough, 2 weeks went by, and they come in. He was very upset. And she went, and I said, so what happened? She said, well, he came home intoxicated. And I said, what did you do? She said, I took the credit card, and I went out and I did exactly what you said to do, get a hotel room. And he said, she ran up a bill of over $1,000. And I sit there and I smiled, and he was mad. He was livid. And I said, so what are you really mad about? Well, she took the credit card and ran up a bill. I said, okay, so let me get this straight. You knew what the boundary was. It was set right here in my office. You agreed to it, and yet you're angry because she did exactly what she said she was going to do. He sat there for a minute and got really mad, and he said, well, I guess so. I said, okay. But that's how a boundary works. You're not really trying to change another person's behavior. You're trying to keep you safe, okay? When you're driving down the road, there is this, my dog just saw a rabbit and took after it. You have this, stop it, Mel, stop it. You have this, sorry about that, guys. You have these double lines. And if you stay on the correct side of the double line on the road, you're fine. You're staying in your boundaries. So boundaries are meant to keep us safe and not really change other people. Now, I will say this, the results of what she did because of the boundary I helped her set sobered him up, and he, I think, has remained sober. They're no longer coming to see me, but this was before I was working inpatient, but I do believe that, boundaries work. Set them. Again, you're not trying to change someone, you're trying to protect yourself. Have a good day.